Hello and happy Lent to all of you. My name is Pete Ascosi, and I'm Assistant Director at ChristLife. And I'm going to share a brief reflection on one of the scriptures from the first Sunday of Lent readings at Mass. And the second reading for the first Sunday of Lent this year is from 1 Peter chapter 3. In verse 18 it says, "For Christ also died for sins once for all, the righteous for the unrighteous, that he might bring us to God." And in reflecting upon this, I was just drawn to gratitude and thanksgiving and praise for the very center of our faith is the cross. The center of our faith is Jesus, who took on flesh and who died and suffered for you and me, the righteous for the unrighteous, to bring us to God. The cross brings us to God. What a beautiful little nugget there for us. He brings us to God through the cross. And this is the remedy that the Father has given all of humanity, the cross. It's the remedy. And we can either accept that remedy or we can reject that remedy and face the consequences. And he goes on in 1 Peter to talk about how just as God saved Noah and his family through the flood, which we hear about in the first reading from Genesis, so baptism saves us. And the power of baptism comes from the death and the resurrection of Jesus. And in my life, there was a time when I had to choose again the grace of baptism. I was baptized as an infant at St. Bernard's Catholic Church in Riverdale, Maryland, outside of Washington, D.C. And that grace was there in my life. I'm so grateful for my parents for depositing that faith in my life. But it took me in my early 20s saying yes again to the Lord, choosing to repent of my sins and to turn away from my sins and to turn to him and accept the salvation he won for us by his dying and his resurrection. And so today I just encourage you to, as you reflect on these readings, to give praise to God for the gift of faith, for the gift of his death and resurrection, for the gift of baptism, which brings us into union with God, that God is no longer a distant star. God's not someone just far out there, but that we've been brought near. He's the very environment of my life now because I've been united with him in his death and resurrection. What a gift, what a blessing he's given us. And may we, as missionary disciples, commit ourselves to spreading the good news. God bless.